In this video, let us learn Apache Excel POI. It's also called as the Excel POI only. So by using this particular POI API, so we can perform read and write operation into an Excel file. So by using our POI API, we can perform the read and write operation into an Excel file. So first, before starting with our Excel POI, first we need to understand about the object model of Excel POI. So the object model of Excel POI is in this way: object model of POI Excel, or you can say Excel POI, anything. The step one, we should create file input stream or file output stream. It means by stream object. File input stream for read purpose, file output stream for write purpose. That is the step one. File input stream fin is equal to new file input stream of, we need to provide the file path. You can provide any name. So excel under excel test.excel.xlsx. This is called the file. So next one, or this is for read purpose, write purpose, we need to go with the file output stream effort is equal to new. So this is the one. So file output stream, yes, we can provide the same path. So the file input stream for reading the content from Excel file and file output stream for writing the content into Excel file. That is the step one. Step two. First we need to create a workbook object is equal to null. It is the topmost object. Okay, for workbook object we need to allocate the memory. Step 3. How to allocate the memory means WB is equal to new XSF workbook. Okay, which one? Fin we need to provide. So once after creating the workbook object, the next step we need to interact with the sheet. Again here there are two criteria. See, WB dot get sheet of sheet name. So when we can use this particular approach, if sheet is available, you can use get sheet method. This get sheet method always return a sheet object. So we need to return the, we can able to store the return value. So or if the sheet is not available, in this case w workbook object create sheet. That's also we can use sheet name. So when you can use this particular representation, if sheet does not exist, if the sheet does not exist, so we can go with which one? Create sheet method. So again this create sheet method also returns which one? Sheet object. So next one called step 5. Once after we are getting the sheet object, by using sheet object we can interact with the row, get row of row num. If row is available, we can use get row. So this get row method always returns which one? Row object. So we can use row reference variable null. So the get row method always returns a row. We can store it in a row object only. Suppose if the row is not available, so if the row is not available, then we can create the row based on the sheet object. We can create row. There is a row number. If row does not exist, we can create a row. Once after creating the, or once after I get the row, the next step, we need to interact with the cells. So now we can create a cell object, reference variable. So based on the row object, we can get the cell. Okay, when we can able to get the cell? If cell is available. If cell is available, yes, we can able to get the cell object, because get cell method always returns a cell object. Suppose if the cell is not at all available, in this case, row dot create cell of cell number you can provide. If cell does not exist, so once after getting the cell object, that is the last object only, we can perform which operation? So we can perform either read or write operation we can perform. Based on the cell object, we can perform the read or write operation. This is the complete object model of POI Excel. Okay. Now, so by using this particular object model, we can start reading the content and writing the content into an Excel file, either existing or a new Excel file. We can write the content, or existing Excel file we can read the content. Yes. Now we should create a project now. A new project we'll try to create. For that purpose, we would like to launch the IntelliJ IDE, and we'll create a Maven project. Just go to new, and there is a project option, and select the Maven archetype. So provide the project name. So in my case, I'm just providing Excel automation or Excel project, anything. And we need to select the appropriate location where exactly we need to select, we need to create our project. So we have provided, already we provided a path. A path is populating. Suppose you would like to create a new location, yes, you can browse it. Any C drive, D drive, any folder path you can provide. Afterwards, JDK by default it's showing as a 117, and catalog is internal, and archetype. So we need to provide the archetype is a Maven hyphen archetype hyphen quick start. So we need to provide Maven hyphen archetype hyphen quick start. So we need to provide the version as 1.4. So now if we can expand the advanced settings, the group ID is com.sg testing. So you can provide any group ID. Okay, and the project name and as well as which one means artifact ID always should be the same. Automatically it is going to populate at here. And version of the snapshot is 1.0 snapshot. So now we can just click on create button to create the project, Maven project, and click on this window. So it was creating the Maven project. Now it was loading the Maven dependencies. It takes some time to load the Maven project. So once after loading the Maven project completely, first we need to, in the pom.xml file, the pom.xml file has opened automatically. Okay, that's the reason in the properties section. So there is a compiler source and target is available, and please change this one as a 1.8. The source and target should be 1.8. Yes, we can save this particular one. And our Maven pom.xml file is having dependency section and one more called plugin section it contains. So currently we would like to involve with the POI Excel. The POI Excel, it is a separate API only. So actually Excel is a Microsoft product. So we need to interact with a separate object model. For that purpose, we must require dependencies. The POI dependencies we should copy and paste into this dependency section we need to include. So from where we can able to get the dependencies? So for that purpose, we would like to go to Maven repository, mvn repository.com. So this is the official website. In this particular official website, we can get any kind of dependencies we can able to get. So this is the official website. So we can able to get the our POI dependency, Selenium dependency, any kind of dependency, which one means even Spring Boot dependency, all the dependencies we can able to copy from here. The first one means we required a POI. So search for the dependency name as POI. So it was provided lot of result. Among them, so we need to select our package name was org.apache.py. So this is the dependency we need to select. So current the version is, so in this case when you can, it should be the latest and it has more usages. So that one we need to copy. Currently 120. So it is the latest one and it is having more usages. Yes, we can copy the 5.4.1. So we can copy this particular dependency and we can paste it here. So along with the dependency, the URL also available. Yes, it is acceptable only. You no need to remove that. Anyway, it is commented one only. The second dependency we need to bring 5.4.1. The second dependency that is called poi.xml. So that also should be from the same version. So remember always, whenever you can get the dependency from the uh, multiple versions, always both versions should be same. So even POI and POI-XML, the version should be same. So copy this particular one and paste into. So please make sure that the version of POI and POI-XML, both versions should be same. The version should not mismatch. If the version is mismatched, most of the time it won't work properly. So it leads to unnecessary error. So that's the reason always we need to make sure about this one. Once after adding the dependencies, the next step, so we need to download the dependencies. Sometimes it will download automatically, or sometimes we need to explicitly we need to download. Okay, and next one we need to sync. So it was okay. Yes, now it was configured properly. Now what are the dependencies are available? Those dependencies are downloaded and those are installed in a local.m2 repository successfully. So now once after adding the dependencies, now we can start writing. We are reading the content from Excel file. So currently we don't have Excel file. Yes, we'll try to create an Excel file. Open the Explorer window, go to C drive and create one folder. The folder name is Excel. So in this particular Excel folder, we'll try to create one file. So select a blank workspace, blank workbook and provide the some of the details. So what are the details we need to provide means here means first name, we'll maximize it. First name, these are the columns. Last name, city name, state name, country name, So again, we are unable to see the data. Again, we'll see now. First name, last name, country name, address. Okay, in this way, there are 6 columns we have provided. So these columns, the corresponding data we need to provide. So here I am just providing first name 1, we will create a data immediately now. And country name and address. So now we can select everything and just drag and drop. Just make it the how much means you can make it the 17, 20. Yes, we will make it the around some 19 records. Yes. So now if we can double click yes. So now we can make it the column is a bold only. So this is the data we have created. Now if you want to, we can highlight this particular test data. So there are 19 rows are available. So go here and select all borders. Yes, this is the data we have selected now. Okay, fine. This is the data we have created. Now we can save this particular file. How to save? Click on file, save as. We can go to this PC, double click on this PC and C drive. There is a folder called Excel. So in this particular Excel, I would like to save this particular file as test.xlsx. Okay, by default it is going to save it in a test.xlsx. Yes, we have created this particular file. Now we can try to read the content from this particular file. So how we can able to read the content from this particular file? Already we have added the appropriate POI dependency into our form.xml file. Now we need to go to either main or test. So I would like to prefer main test. I would like to create the new package Excel demo. So in the Excel demo package, first we need to create a source file to read the content from Excel file. Read content from Excel file demo. So what is the file name? Read content from Excel file demo. So in this class, we need to write a main method, create a main method, and we can write our static method read content. The every method body should contain try catch block, exception E. So now I would like to include finally block. What is the main purpose of finally block? For cleanup purpose. It is an optional block. Irrespective of exception, arised or not, this block executes always. And we can call this particular method here. Yes, now by referring the object model, we can start writing the test now. So since we would like to read the content which is required, so file input stream object is required. So now I would like to write file input stream fin is equal to null. The same object will try to create now. Fin is equal to new file input stream of, we need to provide the file path. In our case, the file is available in C drive, Excel folder. What is the name of the file? Test.xlsx. Yes, we have created the file object. So once after creating the file object, it is a good practice. We should clean up immediately. We need to close that particular file. So it is a good practice. So next step, we have to write. We need to go with which one? We have to create a workbook object. So first we need to create a workbook object. So workbook. So this workbook object always from ss.user model. So you have to navigate. This is the package only we need to prefer org.apache.poi.ss.user model. So workbook wb is equal to null. So for the workbook object, the next step we need to allocate the memory for this reference variable called wb. Okay, workbook object. Workbook is equal to new access of workbook. So we need to provide the fin object. It means the excessive workbook, it always provides a workbook. Okay, excessive workbook. So here, once after getting the workbook object, what is the next step? We need to interact with the sheet. So now we need to go for sheet sh equal to null. Again, sheet we should import from which one means ss, either ss.user model or sl.user model. Always we should be import from org.apache.poi.ss.user model. Yes, we'll make sure yes we are imported the sheet from appropriate package. So currently the Excel file is already available, sheet is available. So that's the reason which method I need to use wb.getSheet. What is the sheet name? Sheet 1, and it always returns sheet object. So that's the reason I would like to store the return value. I would like to store it in a sheet object because getSheet method always returns a sheet object. Once we can get the sheet object, this particular sheet contains n number of rows. So we can get the row count. sh dot get physical number of rows. So it always returns an integer value. So we can store it in a int variable. Int rc is equal to, because we are storing the row count. Once we can get the row count, so now we can able to interact with one by one row. So immediately we can put the for loop. For int r is equal to 0. What is the purpose? We need to specify r with respect to POI. The row count always starts with 0. R less than rc and r plus plus. So we can interact with one by one row. So now we can create a row object because based on the sheet object we can able to interact with row. So for that purpose I need to create a row object based on the ss.user model. Row is equal to null. Again we can make sure row also from the same package hierarchy only we have imported. So next one, so now I would like to interact with row. So here, because we are reading the content sh dot get row, of which one row number r I need to provide. So it returns row object. So once after getting the row object, the next step we need to get the, because we are interacting with one by one row. This first row, second row, third row, each row contains multiple cells. So that's the reason by using row object we can able to get the cells. So before getting the cells, first we need to find out get physical number of cells. Row dot get physical number of cells. It also returns integer value. That's the reason int we provided as cc. So because we can able to interact with one by one cell, for that purpose we should create a cell object. Cell is equal to null. So we are just following the object model only. See, we are getting the sheet and we are getting the row. Once after getting the row, see, once after I get the row, based on that particular row, we are getting the cell count. So once after creating the row object, we can able to get the cell, because this is existing content. We can directly use get cell method. So by using row dot get cell of which one? Cell number we need to use. So for that purpose, we should provide the for loop now. For int c is equal to 0, c less than cc, and c plus plus. So within the inner for loop, we need to provide row dot get cell, because we need to interact with one by one cell. See, because here also cell count always starts with 0. It always returns which one? Cell object. So once we can get the cell object, so we need to make sure whether have we imported the cell? No, we are not imported the cell properly. So now import the cell now. Yes, it is imported. Also, it is imported from the appropriate package. So once after getting the cell object, we can read the content. How we can read the content means string data is equal to, because with respect to our object model, once you can get the cell object either by using get cell or create cell, what we can do, either read or write operation we can perform. In our case, we are using get cell because the cells are already available. Cell dot get string cell value. Get string cell value, it always returns a string value. So now we can able to print the data. How we can able to print the data? S out. So instead of println, I would like to use printf. Printf accepting two parameter. So percentage minus 12s comma data we can able to provide. So now afterwards we need to provide the println line. So either you can use printf or println. If you can use printf means you can provide slash n, you can provide new line character we need to provide. So it is a good practice. What we should do, we need to wb.close also we need to perform. And so it is a good practice if you can assign a null value to each object, which one means sheet, row, cell, that also acceptable one. So now I would like to execute this particular program. Yes, it was printing the output now. So what is the output? Minus indicates left align. First name, last name, city name, state name, country name. So address, everything is available at here. So in this way, we can start reading the content from our Excel file. We can read the content from Excel file. Suppose we would like to write the content into an Excel file. So close this particular Excel file. So for that purpose, we should create a new source file now. What is the new source file? Write content to Excel file demo. So I created a new source file called which one? Write content to Excel file. I just provided a main method and define a method static void write content. So what type of content we can write now here means we can call this particular method. So what type of content we should write means we will write username, password, and the username is one particular username and password is one particular password. So the credentials we can create an Excel file called credentials.xlx file we can create. The body of the method should contain try catch block in order to handle the exceptions. and we should include finally block. Finally is an optional block. Irrespective of exception arised or not, this block executes always. So now, first, since we should write the content, that's the reason which is required. File output stream object is required. Effort is equal to null. So in our case, we are writing the content for a new Excel file, not for the existing Excel file. For that purpose, we need to create a workbook. WB is equal to null. So WB is equal to new XSF workbook. So you don't need to provide any, the constructor we need to use nowhere constructor only we should use XSF workbook. So we should not pass any file object or anything, because we should create and we need to write the content for that purpose. So once after creating the workbook object, it is a blank workbook object. It doesn't have anything. So with respect to our object model, so workbook object is available. It is a blank, and we are not provided any file object or anything. Now obviously it doesn't contain any sheet. So which one I need to use? Create sheet method only we should use. So it doesn't have any sheet. Sh equal to null. So sh we need to import from. So always from org.apache.poi.ss.user model. So now we should we need to create a sheet now. Create sheet. We need to provide the sheet name. The sheet name I'm just providing credit or information. I'll provide the name as information. You can provide any name. Okay, any meaningful name you can just provide. Okay, information. So this one, the create sheet method, the create sheet always returns which one? Sheet object. So always prefer the object model. Based on the object model only we can write the code. So easy for you. It will be much more comfortable and will learn many things also. Once after getting the sheet object, see the sheet itself we have created means obviously the sheet doesn't have any rows. Then in this case we have to create a row also. So now we have to declare the row object ss.userModel row equal to null. So in this case sh.create row I would like to provide 0. 0 means first row I would like to provide. It is a row is equal to. So we need to create a first row. Within this particular row we need a 2 cells. So that's the reason I need a cell object. Cell is equal to null. So one cell for username, another cell for password. So I'm just mark it as a first row. Within the first row we need to create a cells now. How we can able to create a cell? Row dot create cell 0. 0 means first cell. This always returns which one? Cell object. As soon as if we can create a cell, so we can write it cell dot set cell value. Which is the value we need to set? String value. So I would like to set username. Similar way, I would like to create one more cell. Second cell, row dot create cell 1. So in the same row only, in the row 1 only, we are creating the second cell. For the second cell, I would like to set the value. Set cell value. That is a string value. That is a password. Yes. This is for we have created a first row. So this is in this particular case we have created a first row So based on the row, once after creating the row, we have created a first cell and we are written some value in this first cell. And again, I have created a second cell and we have written the password value into second cell. So now we need to create a second row. Second row. So sh dot create row. I need to provide 1. So the same row object only we can able to use, because create row, it always returns which one? Row object. Again, based on the row object, I can create a cell now. The first cell I would like to create. So currently we are creating the second row first cell. So obviously it should be, we need to set some value here. Set cell value. So I would like to provide username is, I'm just provide admin. Similar way, I would like to create second cell 1, and cell, so it always returns which one? Cell object. By using cell object, set cell value, we can write admin at the rate 123. Some data we can able to set. So currently the first row, we have first row with 2 columns, cell 1 and cell 2, we have written the headings, and second row the appropriate value we have specified. So now I would like to save this particular component. How I can able to save means, yes, so I need to create a file output stream object we need to create now. Effort is equal to new file output stream. We can provide the file name. In our case, Excel, the file name is credentials.xls. You can provide any name, that is your wish. I just provided the name card credentials.xls. Once after creating the file object, the same object we should write into a which one? Our workbook, that is f out. So now with respect to our finally block, we should do f_close and wb.close we should perform. Save this particular example. So by referring the which one? Our same object model, create cell, and we are writing the operation. So now if we can execute this particular one, and we can make sure yes, the method is called properly, and now we can run this particular writing Excel content and go to that respective folder. So in this folder is credential.xls file got generated. Now open this particular file. So if we can maximize it, yes, we can see now. We can able to see username, password. In the second row, the corresponding username and corresponding password we can able to view. Okay. In the next example, in the next video, we can discuss about some examples how we can able to read and write content into an Excel file and multiple Excel file, and we can try to write some utility also. Thank you.